Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far and welcome to today's video, which is going to be my worst makeup of 2023, the products I despised the most in this entire year. So if you want all of the juicy tea, then keep watching. Ooh, this video makes me so uncomfortable to film. I hate doing it, but it has to be done. The people want to know where not to spend their money. So quick disclaimer, some of these products aren't terrible. They're not hideous. Some are. But some of them are just not for me. For one reason or another, I just didn't get along with them, or they were disappointing for one reason or another. There's a variety of reasons why I despise all of these products, so I will be letting you know what those are. Some might work for you, and that's great. I'm so glad you didn't waste your money like I did, but I hate them all. Okay, so let's get started. Now, the first product that I'm going to talk about, I can't find it, and I can only assume that I've either buried it so deeply in my makeup collection so that I may never come across it and it may never darken my door ever again. I don't know where it's gone. I've either given it away, I don't know who I dislike enough to have given it to, or I've thrown it away, which I don't think I would have done, or it's just buried so deeply that I literally can't find it, but it's the Natasha Denona Love face and eye palette. So you know it's this one. First of all, I was so confused that this actually came out this year. When I was looking through my videos trying to find, you know, what came out this year that I didn't like, I can't believe this came out this year, but it did. I've checked. I can't believe it. I promise you it's true. I won't lie to you. This was so disappointing. I think just off the back of the glam face and eye palettes that I love so much, and I still love them now, I really thought this was going to be phenomenal, and it wasn't really my colour story. You know, I'm not a really sort of bright pastely pink kind of girl when it comes to especially cheek products, but eyeshadows either. But if the formulas had been really great and as good as the glam ones, then I probably would have forgiven it for not really being my colours. Maybe if you absolutely love pink, you would like this more than I did, but the blush in here was especially terrible. The highlighter just was not flattering on my skin tone, and the eyeshadows just, I don't feel like it was a well thought out, put together palette as far as the colour story, and it certainly wasn't when it came to some of the formulas as well. It was just an all-around disaster. I didn't like anything about it except for maybe the packaging, and I really had high hopes. I think it could have been so much better. The glam ones were so good. We wanted more like that. I don't know what this was, but it was not for me. By the way, please let me know if any of the products in this video you absolutely love, because makeup is so subjective. There's nothing wrong, and you're not wrong if you love something that I don't. That's allowed, and that is totally valid. You had a different experience, but I love to hear other people's experiences and opinions that are wildly different to mine. Let me know if these are like your holy grails. I want to know about it. Am I doing something wrong? Did I miss something? Let me know. Next up, a product I definitely don't hate anywhere near as much as that Natasha Denona Love palette. In fact, I don't mind it. I just think it could have been so much better. It's the Chanel Complexion Enhancers. There's just so many things that could have been and should have been better about it. The first thing being the available colours. There are 3 shades. This is the lightest one, which is called Soft Pink. It's very pink for a product that is designed for you to be able to wear it alone on the skin. It reads quite pink, on me at least. And then the medium shade, which I also own, which is medium coral. I mean, nobody that I know has a coral skin tone, so again, it's kind of difficult to wear it alone on the skin. For me to be able to wear this by itself, and it sort of be along the lines of, you know, a complexion enhancer, something like the Le Beige Water Fresh Tint, or the Charlotte Tilbury primer, or the Chantecaille skin perfectors. You've got to be able to wear it by itself, but for me to be able to do that, I had to mix 2 shades. There was nowhere near enough shades, and for me the undertones of the shades were just off in order to be used in that way. And I just feel like if I wear it by itself as well, really enhances my texture. It's okay mixed in with foundation, but I just don't feel like they're glowy enough that if you mix them in or put foundation over the top of them, you're not really benefiting from the effect. You know, it's nowhere near as glowy as like the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. It just isn't going to really give you much of a difference when you mix it in or use it under foundation, and when used on its own it's not very flattering on me. So yeah, it wasn't a horrifying product, and I know lots of people like them. It just didn't quite work for me, and I feel like it's so disappointing because it should have been so much better. And I don't want to have to mix shades and buy two when they're this expensive, you know. Why should I? Next up, another product that I feel like is probably quite popular, and I didn't hate, it just wasn't what I wanted it to be, but it's the Westman Atelier Lit Up Stick in the shade Parla. I don't hate this, but I just never really use it because it's kind of neither here nor there. It's very soft and subtle, and it doesn't have much base, but it is a little sticky. And you know me with cream products and liquid products, I need to be really confident that they're not going to affect my base underneath, and this just feels so risky to me. I think it looks so pretty, like there looks so pretty and soft and glowy and without any base and really wearable, lovely dewy skin, and it is, but it's the texture, it's too sticky, it's very risky. It quite often picks up foundation or product that's underneath, and therefore I just find that I don't reach for it and I don't use it. And I really wanted to love this. You know, I love Westman Atelier products. I love their blush and contour sticks. I really wanted to love this, but it's just the texture it's too sticky, and I can't apply it and be really happy with the result and be confident that it's not going to mess everything else up. So that for me was a fail. I'm so sad about it. I really tried to like it, and I kind of thought I did like it at first, but as I've used it, you know, across the year, it just never quite looks how I want it to, you know. Next up, the Saie Beauty foundation. Look, can you see what is happening in here? And it's really like not that old. I just did not get along with this foundation well at all. There were just so many issues with it. I think when I first applied it, I was like, oh, I quite like it. What happened is, one, I massively struggled with the shade range. I couldn't find any shades. There were massive big jumps between like the olive undertone shades or shades that would work for me. So I ended up with one that was much too light and one that was much too dark. So I had to mix my shades, and even then wasn't really happy with the shade match that I managed to achieve, even mixing two shades. So that counted against it. But oh my gosh, it just made me look so hairy. That's my main problem. When I was really looking at it in natural daylight, it massively emphasized peach fuzz. You know, I don't shave my face. I consider doing it all the time. I think about doing it, but it's one of those things that I'm afraid to start, because once you've started, you kind of got to do it forever, I feel like. And I don't want to. I'm lazy. I've got enough to do. I don't want to be adding things. If anything, I want to take away stuff that I do, not add more stuff. And it literally just really emphasized peach fuzz. It made my face look super duper hairy, and it wore terribly well. I think it was basically gone from like the bottom half of my face at around like 6 or 7 hours. It had got shinier as well throughout the day, but it just wore terribly. It had just faded completely in many different areas. And yeah, it was not a good time. Not a good time, not one that I really wanted to put on my face ever again after the first few uses. And yeah, it's just been sitting in my drawer, as you can tell, because it's now all separated and looks rancid. So I guess that one is destined for the bin. Quite possibly one that someone with a different skin type, maybe a drier skin type than mine and a shaved face would love, but I didn't. Next, let's talk about the Hermes highlighters. They're so expensive. So they really need to be fantastic in order for you to not feel burned by the price tag, because they are so expensive. The colors, especially this one, which is the rose shade, I was just like, it just didn't look good on me. It looked so grey and chalky. I mean, do you see how that literally looks like almost like a matte chalky eyeshadow? It really has no glow to speak of as well, I'll say that. I don't know what the other shade is like, but this one, I mean, I'm looking at it now, and you know, it does have some luminosity, but do you see how chalky that looks on my skin tone. It's definitely not one that will work for me. The other issue I have with it is it's so thick. The formula is very thick, so it's really going to have to match you perfectly shade wise in order for it to look seamless and melt into the skin. And if you're going to do a more natural, less metallic highlighter, that's what you're looking for, something that is barely there, a really natural bit of luminosity. Like, are you just, you know, catching the light, or is it highlighter? We can't tell. That's what people are looking for when you've got a soft, subtle, not super metallic highlighter. But when it's this opaque and it's got that much base color to it and it's quite thick and heavy on the skin, you're not getting like the best of any worlds. It's not the best of both worlds, it's the best of no worlds, because one, you're not getting much glow, but you are getting a very visible on the skin, heavy, cakey, even chalky mess. Okay, I didn't really like it at all, can you tell? And it's very expensive for something that you don't really love. I haven't really seen anyone be like, this is my holy grail. I just feel like it's probably not completely anybody's type of highlighter, because if you want something really quite glowy, it's not going to be glowy enough for you. And if you want something quite subtle and just a bit of luminosity, it's going to be too heavy for you. So I don't know who this appeals to, but it wasn't me. I mean, presumably Hermes's bank manager loves it, but I think he's the only one. Next up, another product that I am absolutely confident there will be lots of people who love. In fact, the lovely Kate the Great, I'm sure it was Kate who said that she actually loved these, but I hate them. It's the Rare Beauty tinted lip oils. Now, some of this, I will say, I'll take it on the chin and say some of this was a miscommunication, and I'll take some of the responsibility, because if you read the description of this product, it does say it's a lip tint, right? However, you've called it a tinted lip oil. And that's where the confusion lies, because I hear tinted lip oil and what I expect is a lip oil with some colour, a tinted lip oil. Do you see where mistakes were made? So the issue I have with this, I bought a couple of shades and did like a lip swatch video thinking these are going to be tinted lip oils, as the name told me they were, and that conjures up for me, you know, think of the Dior lip oils, the Fenty lip oils, any lip oil that's a bit of colour, that's a bit tinted lip oil. Just really driving the point home there that I am in the right. I'm an innocent victim in all of this, I promise. So I thought, you know, it's going to be a lip oil that's glowy and shiny, and it is going to be very sheer and natural, you know, no makeup days. This will not come off your lips, okay? I'm even scared to swatch this on my hand. If you want to see the first one on my lips, I do have a review of these. You can't get it off, okay? Even if you want to, it's not coming off. It's a lot of colour. It's not like a hint of a lovely natural lip oil. It's a pretty opaque amount of colour that will never leave your lips, even when you've asked it to many, many times very politely. I've been scrubbing this with a wipe trying to get it off. You know, even makeup remover didn't make like light work of it. It was actually hard to get off using an oil-based makeup remover that has never struggled to get anything off before in its life. It's just not for me. You know, I don't want lipsticks that aren't gonna come off ever. I want lipsticks that if I feel like changing my lip up halfway through the day, it's just wipe and then reapply. I don't want to have to go to war with my lip product to change it up. It just was not what I was expecting. It's not what I wanted. I don't like stains. That's what it essentially is. It's a lip stain as opposed to a lip oil or tint even. It's a lip stain, and boy does it stain. For some people this will be fantastic because long wearing, I mean, it's like forever wearing, okay? If you want a long wearing lip colour, you can't go wrong because they won't come off even when you choose or want them to. So for sure, some people will absolutely have loved them. I did not. It wasn't what I expected. It wasn't what I wanted. And I don't like that type of product. So that was disappointing. And I will accept 15% of the blame for not reading fully the description. But the rest of it is Rare Beauty's fault for calling it a tinted lip oil, because it should be just called a lip stain. That's what it is. Next up, a product that again is not terrible. It's fine. It's just so disappointing. I just had such high expectations and I really wanted to love these, and again, they just don't quite work. You're going to be so surprised, but it's the Charlotte Tilbury duos, cheek duos for her holiday collection. So this is the lighter one, and then we have the deeper one. It's just, again, there's nothing terribly wrong with these. Both of these I think looked nice when I reviewed them on the cheeks. The issue I have is, for a start, there 100% should have been 3 of these, okay? The deep one is just too deep. It's terrifying for me to use. The highlighter is very tricky for me to use. You know, even in summer, I still had most of my tan when I reviewed these, and with my summer skin tone, the highlighter is still undoubtedly going to leave a cast on me, and I could use the blush, but if you watch my review, it was utterly terrifying. I had to use such a light hand and then a lot of blending, and it's just frightening, okay? It's just, overall, it's too deep for my skin tone. And then the lighter one is too light. So I had issues personally just with my skin tone, because the blush of the lighter one is absolutely fine, no problems at all. I mean, you can see there, it's actually quite a rich blush, but the highlighter was really quite, again, it went a little grey, a little chalky on my summer skin tone when I was reviewing these. So neither of these really worked for me. Someone in the comments of this review nailed it when they said that Charlotte Tilbury, when she does 2 colour options of cheek products, the deeper is always this sort of burnt orange terracotta orange shade, and the lighter one is always pink, and we would love to swap them round. Please do next time, Charlotte Tilbury. The lighter option peachy, the deeper option pink, because we don't always, not everyone with a lighter skin tone wants everything pink and a deeper skin tone wants everything orange. I don't know if we've got that memo, but please swap them around next time. We really needed 3 of these. We really did. We've been waiting a very long time for this type of glorious, you know, blush and highlight duo. The idea was fantastic. I love the blush highlight duo, the packaging and everything. Love that. We were so close to a moment, so close, but we needed at least 3. And I would have loved it if we had made the highlighter a bit more of a soft, subtle, rather than such an opaque, really metallic highlighter. Something like, you know, what was in the original Bronze and Glow, because these are like the blush and glows. I would have loved the original Bronze and Glow highlight formula in here. And then a glowy, or at least a satin blush, because again, these blushes are really quite matte. And I didn't love that. They were kind of trickier to use. They were very powdery as well, very loosely pressed. So you couldn't help but pick up a lot of product, which again makes them kind of intimidating and scary to use for a lot of people. I just feel like, again, they're not terrible. They're very beautiful. And I think if you had a deeper skin tone, the deeper one will look glorious on you, especially. But they just didn't quite work for me. They just didn't quite work for my skin tone, and they just didn't live up to the expectations I had, which I was so excited about them, and then they were disappointing. This video is so sad. Next up, let's talk about another really sad. This is such a depressing vibe. This whole video is just making me want to lie down in a dark corner and rock. And next up, we have the Rouge Dior Forever liquid lacquer lipsticks. So these were Dior's answer to the Chanel Double Tenue. I'm wearing one of those today in light brown, I think. And we thought this was going to be Dior's answer to them, and it is undoubtedly. It's a shiny lacquer lipstick that is transfer proof, bulletproof, really long wearing. So excited. Those types of formulas are just my favorites because I love a shiny lip, but typically shiny lips don't wear very well. So these are genius formulas, and I love the fact that the Dior wasn't double-ended, so you didn't have to do, you know, the process that you have to do with the Chanel ones where, you know, you add the colour, weight, and then the gloss. You literally just apply like a normal lipstick and you're good to go. They're 95% of the way. They're 95% of the way there. They're so close to being great. But one, I had so many struggles. If you watch my review with the brighter shade, I picked up 2 nudes and a bright shade, and the bright shade was a nightmare to apply. The issue, I think, again, it was partly user error, because I would apply the colour and then I was rubbing my lips together, which I can do with the Chanel one. I can do it right now, even when it's dried down. I can do it when I'm applying the colour. That really helps me get, you know, a nice even amount of product across the lips and the center of the lips and everything. If you do that with the Dior, it all starts separating and going patchy. I had to like reapply that bright shade like 3 times to get it looking half decent, and it was a nightmare. But the deal breaker for me is these are so sticky on the lips. They stick my lips together. Like I was driving, I can't remember where I was going now. I was going shopping or something, and it's like a 30-40 minute car journey, and the entire way, because I was on my own, so I wasn't talking, I was just sat driving, and if I just relaxed my mouth, stopped talking for a few seconds, my lips were like glued together, and I spent the whole journey just prizing my lips apart. It was driving me mad, and I just can't stand it. I know some people have experienced this and don't mind it, doesn't bother you, and that I'm so jealous. It really bothers me. I literally spend the entire day when I've got these on just prizing my lips apart because I can't stand them being constantly stuck together. The Chanel ones don't do that to me, so these are just never going to be a lip product I wear very often because I can't stand that feeling, and I don't have to put up with it because I have the Chanel ones anyway. But you were so close to greatness. Why did you have to be sticky? Why, Dior? You were so close. Do you know what I'm noticing? There's a lot of highlighters in here. Why are we getting highlighters so wrong this year, guys? What's going on? Next up, the YSL Halo Tint Highlighter. This is from the new range, the new, you know, NU. Is it new? Do we say new or no? I don't know. What do we think? This was sent to me in PR. So if ever you felt like I wasn't going to be honest about a product because it was sent to me in PR, pay attention to the next 30 seconds or so. I don't like this at all. I really wanted to. And let me tell you, when I swatched it, I was excited. I swatched this, I think, in my haul video, was it? Yes, when I received this as PR, and I thought, oh, not necessarily that I was sure this shade was going to be like my favorite, because it's rude. It's a sort of light pink shade. It looks, you can see there, it's a little too light, a little too pinky for my skin tone, but that's okay. It was going to allow me to try it and see how I liked the formula, and oh, it was a disaster, I'm afraid. I am not someone who's very good at applying creams and liquids. You know this about me if you've ever been here before. I need the easiest, idiot-proof cream and liquid formulas, or it's just never going to work out. It's never going to be a good situation. And this one is just really tricky. I've tried it several times, and not only does it like pick up my foundation underneath because it's quite sticky, it like makes a paste. It makes it all like separate, and it's just a night. It doesn't work for me. I don't know if it's just me. I haven't really seen anybody else talking about these or using them. Maybe that's why. But the effect, it's such a shame because the effect is so pretty and it does really give a gorgeous luminosity, but at what cost? You know, it's not worth it because I can't get these to apply without making a mess of everything else. So although then there is a bit of a nice glow to my cheeks, the rest of my makeup is an utter bedraggled mess. So it's just not, it can't work. It can't work. I can't be doing with it. I can't keep using these. I've given them several chances. I've given it several chances because I really wanted to love it. One, because I did receive it in PR, but two, because you know, when I swatch it on the back of my hand, it looks so pretty and luminous. I want to love it. I want it to look like that on my cheeks. But unfortunately, something terrible happens every time. It picks foundation up, it mixes, it makes a paste on the cheeks. It's not happening. I can't do it. I've given up. I give up, okay? I'm so sorry. And finally, we have the Armani Luminous Silk Highlighter. This was, again, so disappointing. It's not awful, it's not hideous, okay? It's okay. It's just so disappointing because one, I loved the packaging so much and I was really rooting for this release from Armani because it's been a long time since there was anything from Armani Beauty that I could get excited about and look forward to, and I thought this was going to be it, but again, it was really expensive. The packaging actually in person looks nicer, I think, than the photos. But yeah, it's still a little bit garish, a little bit too yellowy, sparkly. But this also came in one shade, and as many of you pointed out, it's one very orange shade, which worked for me absolutely fine finally in summer, but I couldn't wear it now. It is extremely orange, isn't it? Which is a strange option. If you're going to go for one shade, I feel like you should go for quite a neutral, you know, something like a champagne, or even, you know, it being deeper is not an issue at all, because typically if brands release one shade of something, it's always on the lighter end, isn't it? So a brand releasing one shade and it being deeper is not an issue whatsoever, but it's just so warm and orange that it's not really going to look natural on anybody, even if you have a warmer, deeper skin tone. It is very orange. It's then just okay. It's kind of smooth, but it has got quite chunky glitters in it. I don't know if you'll be able to see them, but the body of the highlighter, the majority of the highlighter, looks really nice and smooth and glowy, but then it's riddled with chunky glitter flecks, which I don't love, and it just didn't really do anything for me as far as a highlighter. I really wanted it to be super beautiful and special and give like the Rev de Camellia a run for her money, but in, you know, a different shade. And yeah, it was just overall extremely disappointing. I don't think I've barely used this since it arrived. It's just rotting in my drawer, and that's a sad, sad day because it was very expensive. It needed to be in more shades and get rid of the glitter. Okay, so there you have it. Those are the products that I liked the least in 2023, products I just couldn't get on board with. It just didn't work for me for one reason or another. Please tell me the worst product you tried all year, the one you hated the most, the one you couldn't get to grips with. Please let me know your most hated product of 2023 in the comments section down below. Was it the same as any of mine? Or did you love all of these and you hated something that I love? Please let me know all of your makeup fails in the comment section down below. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'd love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye 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 bye.